So, you go onto YouTube and bang, right in front of you there is a cpol upload, but it's just a 900pp play from a random. Would you click on it? Well, you probably would. But if we were to use this scenario in, let's say, 2025, would this be true? In the future, it will probably feel like when you see someone set an 800. Yes, you are desensitized to osu scores. I used to see this everywhere when mrekk was really dominant in the rankings, shitting out 1000 pp scores over and over again. People were complaining about how 1k pp scores are not unique anymore, but no one really talked about why this mentality of thinking is going to ruin the game forever. So today, I'll be breaking down this phenomenon. But real quickly, can you please subscribe, and if you want to chill, join my Discord server. Okay, thank you. Let's start with a quick timeline to get you up to speed. I have put timestamps if you want to skip this bit and get into the reasoning, but it's up to you. Okay, let's continue. On the 9th of July 2019, Vaxei set the world's first 1000 pp play on Tsukinami, but not even 24 hours later, Idki would set the second 1000 pp play on Foreground Eclipse's Songscom. This score was pretty overshadowed by the first 1000 pp play, which was unfortunate. But after these two scores, it was starting to become standard to see 700s and 800s getting pumped out. Until this guy named Whitecat was unbanned on the 22nd of September 2019, after being banned for 3 whole years.
Dude, you just got fucking unbanned!
What? He would start farming again, and in the span of 2 weeks, he would basically destroy everyone in his way, achieving the #1 spot on the 9th of October 2019.
We got it, boys!
During this time of 2 weeks, it was standard to see him set 800s and 900s. Whitecat held the #1 spot for 456 days. But during these 456 days, he was extremely dominant, focusing on his DT and 3-mod skills to set a variety of crazy scores, which mainly consisted of 900s and 1ks. Unfortunately, after some reworks, his playstyle was majorly nerfed. From 2020 to 2021 was the time where 1ks were still extremely crazy scores that people were stunned by because they were still rather uncommon. However, we did see the progression of other players who were catching up in skill and rank. The problem here is that as one person improves, to beat that guy you need to push your boundaries, obviously. But what happens if your opponent is this guy? Well, you just farm the meta, playing maps that the #1 player is playing. During this era, the jump farm meta was insanity. Everyone was farming the same thing, which was the same Sotak's 1-2 jump maps, and it really was starting to get boring. But it did get to a point where mrekk was going to take over Whitecat, that he really had to play maps that Whitecat wasn't farming, and some that were objectively harder. It was then, on April 8th, 2021, mrekk took over Whitecat's #1 spot. Where he has held that position to present date. From then to now, everything has changed. There is no definitive farm if you're going to be a top player. Even if speed is meta or really broken at the moment, you can play aim speed and still be top 5. This has led to diversity of scores from some players, but not all. Now that we have gotten some history out of the way, what was the common denominator? Well, it's that the skill ceiling was being pushed as time gradually went on, and new players rose to the top. What if I told you that the #1 player doesn't even have a 1.4k pp play? Okay, that was kinda toxic. But of course I'm going to talk about Akolibed. He has recently been pushing the game's skill ceiling even higher, setting insane pp milestone plays like the only 2 1.5k pp plays, and even the one and only 1.7k pp play. These numbers are getting too much, to the point that the charm or rather uniqueness to scores are gone. You see another 900 pp play, but it's just some farm map that mrekk or XYZ has FC'd before. Do you really care about it? Well, that's for you to decide. As condescending as I make it sound, this really is harmful thinking, and can easily destroy the confidence of players who are setting these scores. Maybe not those who are in the top 100, but definitely those who are aspiring to be the best. Imagine you're that player. You have been grinding your ass off to get higher in the rankings. You set your first 900 pp play on a watered down farm map that everyone and their mom can play nowadays. But nonetheless, you're still happy. How would you feel if you are that player and you see people saying, oh, it's just a 900? Because there are so many scores already like that, and it's really nothing unique. Also, what about this? You see Akolibed setting all these 1.1Ks and insanely high PP plays, and then there is a cpol upload of him getting a 900. The majority of people would most likely override the score and just ignore it, because the number is not high enough. Regardless if the map was difficult or not, they just won't care. It's really a curse of being the best. The spotlight will only be on you if you do something impressive, and this puts on immense pressure and expectation on these players. Now, I want to talk about a major factor of your desensitization, and that's the rate players are submitting insane scores and high value PP scores is a lot faster than it used to be. Seeing all of these scores are like sensory overload, and cpol is a perfect example of making everyone cream their pants because he uploads every single impressive score, or high PP score imaginable. The amount of people, mainly cpol, distributing these scores is too much to comprehend, and that's when inexplicably high standards form. They form from what we perceive, and if that means a 1.1k or a 1k every single day, then that will be the norm, I guess. Don't get me wrong, these scores are a great thing. However, as time goes on and these plays start to get more and more common, people start to focus on high PP plays and start ignoring the cool plays, all just because of a silly number. Not saying that high PP scores are not the most impressive plays in the game, but the spotlight and standards are always highest because of PP records and amazing accomplishments. Hype has basically killed the community's perception of cool scores. Another factor is that there is PP inflation. Wait, that sounds wrong. But I mean that in this economical state of the world, to climb the rankings you need PP, and because a lot of people are farming PP, it's getting harder for your average player to rank up. I mean, I literally need 8,266 raw PP to get 4-digit. That is absurd. Back in the day, you could comfortably get 4-digit, possibly even close to 3-digit with that amount of PP. But as time goes on and more players start to join Osu, the skill to PP ratio has changed, and there's a rocketing inflation and everyone is just in the middle of it. It's just like you can't compete, but scores worth less PP like these are so impressive, it's really a shame that people will most likely ignore or refuse to watch because the number isn't high enough for their dopamine receptors. And that's just the truth. Is there really anything we can do about this? Well, not really. This is not a bad thing, however. Competition is good. This is what keeps the game alive. But I think it's only fair everyone is treated with respect and not belittled due to their PP. Pause. I mean, some of the time there are hard maps that are worth nothing and easy maps that are worth a lot. The PP system is broken, but it will truly never be perfect. Everything I have mentioned in this video has played a part in people's perceptions of Osu scores. At the end of the day, all of these numbers will catch up to you, and you are desensitized to Osu scores. Feel free to join my Discord server down below if you want to chill, and subscribe. Okay, take care. Bye bye.